to another edition of Did You Know Doctor Who, or what you may not know about Doctor Who. This time we're going to have a look at the final Jo Grant story, one of the best send-offs to a companion in my opinion, The Green Death. I hope you enjoy. Whilst this is Jo Grant's final appearance in Doctor Who, she would reappear years later in the Sarah Jane Adventures. A rather humorous fact, but the giant maggots were in fact inflated condoms. The story was inspired by Barry Letts and Terence Dicks reading and watching ecological articles which discussed the environment and pollution. In fact, this story was inspired by the formation of Greenpeace in Canada. Ironically, Katie Manning and Stuart Bevan were a couple in real life, as well as partnered up in the show. Funnily enough, production was reluctant to have him in the show. John Pertwee was upset and disappointed with Katie Manning leaving. This is one of the few times the Doctor drinks alcohol. For the scene in which the Doctor and Brenton are attacked by a giant fly, Michael Bryant wanted to have the fly suspended from a helicopter, but adverse weather conditions on the day of filming meant that only 1 or 2 successful shots were obtained, so Bryant had to use CSO for the majority of the scene. Global Chemicals was originally called Universal Chemicals before changing to United Chemicals, only for there to be a real-life company of the same name. Filming for the Time Warrior had begun while Part 6 was still in production. Pertwee was so distraught over Manning's leaving that he opted to film the Time Warrior more than the Green Death. For the giant fly, Barry Letts wanted the Royal Air Force to get involved to create the effect of it flying about. Believe it or not, production had fears that the story might be too political and actually toned it down for this story. This is the final story to have the Pertwee time vortex. This is also the last story until Doctor Who the movie to feature the famous Pertwee era Doctor Who logo. However, this logo would be used for merchandise even today, meaning the logo is arguably the longest lasting of the Doctor Who logos. And that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed. The Green Death for me is one of the best Jon Pertwee era stories. I absolutely love The Green Death. Yes, it is very political, but I actually don't think that is a bad thing. It's actually quite a good political story, if that makes sense. It's entertaining. The giant maggots, for one thing, I think the effects actually look pretty good, even if they are made out of condoms, which was quite a humorous fact when I discovered that. But everything about this is really, really good. I genuinely like how the monster in this isn't necessarily a intelligent monster. Yes, Boss, which is the computer, is technically the main villain of this whole story, because obviously Doctor Who production team always need a villain. However, saying that, I think the monsters in this are really unique in the sense that they are just animals. Let's be honest, they're just animals doing their normal thing. It is quite funny seeing some of the effects though, because of course the green glow isn't very good. There is some iffy blue screen effects, and of course the giant fly looks quite ridiculous. But then again, it is saved up for the fact that the maggots actually look really good. The Green Death is a very entertaining story, and I totally recommend it, and the emotional ending is fantastic. I love the way the Doctor looks so glum as he leaves the party all alone, just going off as everyone else is celebrating and smiling and chuckling and all that, and the Doctor is just silent, and he just walks out and he goes off on his own to whatever he's going to do next. And it's so brilliantly done. That is probably one of the best Doctor Who scenes ever, and I mean it for a fact. That is just truly fantastic. Absolutely well crafted, absolutely well made. Overall, The Green Death is a great story. If you don't want politics, this isn't the story for you, but there's a lot of entertaining moments in this. This is a very fun story, a very interesting story, and it's quite a funny story considering how outdated some of the effects looks. But then again, the maggots actually look pretty good for the time. Overall, I like The Green Death, and I'm sure you will too. Hope you enjoyed this edition of Did You Know Doctor Who, and I'll see you next time.